and welcome back to Alcohol. And this time, again, whether you have tripped up to this channel by chance or by mistake, find it out. Because your presence is like strawberry to white jalebi, which is quite yummy and quite delightful, just like your presence. So today, let's go with lab program 2A of video celebration. So in this program, what you have to do is that, this is one Fibonacci series, right? I believe that till 4th semester, all of you are able to understand the concept of Fibonacci series. Still, I would like to explain you that it's nothing but the sum of last two elements. Like if you want the element in 5th position, that it is the sum of 3rd and 4th position. Okay. So in this program, you have to pass the position of the element which you want. Like if you want 3rd position element, you have to pass this position as the parameter, and as an output, the element which is present in that position will be getting printed. Okay, so let's move ahead to see the approach of this program. The very first step is that you have to define a function whose name is Fibo. Make sure you can name your function whatever you wish. Now step 2 is to declare the base cases. Base case is nothing but the condition where the recursion stops. So the very first base case is that if there only one element as input. For example, user have given sum of only first position element. That time, see, this is your Fibonacci series. Okay, so when it comes to only one as input, that time nothing, but this one is your answer. So this is one of the terminating step of the recursion. Now, step 2 is base case 2 is nothing but when the user have given input as 2, like input as 2, this is 1, this is 2. When user is giving you input as 2, that time you have to return this. So, these are the two required base cases for this program. Now, the step 3 is to declare the recursive part, which will perform the entire operation. Now, the step 4 is to call this user-defined function into your program. So before moving to the code, one thing I will talk about is that indentation, because I have seen most of the students struggling with this thing. Okay, how you will make sure that the next line is inside this function? So in order to make your statements or whatever the code you are writing inside this function, what you have to do is that you have to follow the rule of indentation. In that rule of indentation, you have to leave some space. Commonly, we keep 3 to 4 space here, like if n is equals to 1. Here we have kept this one, right? All the next lines of code should be written parallel to this one. Okay, parallel to this one. It should be like this. Now, here in if condition, you want again one line. Then this return 0. This part is supposed to come inside if condition. So don't write it parallel to if. If you're writing it parallel to if, then it will come out of the if statement. So leave some space. Then you write that return part. Now, this elif condition, it's coming inside your function. So next step you have to do is that after if, you have to write elif condition, which is the part of this user-defined function. So write it parallel to if. Don't leave extra space behind or extra space in front of it. A good practice is to write it parallelly. Now you have write elif. Now n is equals to 2. Done. Now inside if this elif condition, you have one more statement, that is return 1. That if this condition will pass, then only you will return this thing. So this return part should come inside this elif statement. So make sure to keep some space here. Then right? Return 1. Similarly, this else part is a part of this else part is an alternative for this if. Means this should be parallel to this if. This one, all should be parallel. Now, to make the statement inside this else condition, what you have to do is that you have to leave space, some space here. Then you have to return this part. Okay. So now you have understood the indentation. First thing, name the function. Then whatever the statement you want to keep it inside, make sure to leave parallel equal space and keep all those parallelly. Similarly, if you have more number of steps inside this if statement, that condition, you leave some space, then write parallel to this line. Don't leave extra, don't leave space behind. So here we have a Fibonacci series of 5 elements. For example, if user is giving you input as 1, that time you have to return 0. If 2, that time you have to return 1. If 4, you have to return 2. If 5, you have to return 3. So this line of the program defines a function whose name is fn. It takes n as parameter or as an argument and calculate the nth term of the Fibonacci series. For example, if you have passed n is equals to 5, that time it will print 3, that is 5th term of the Fibonacci series. Now, here since we are using recursion, we need base cases where your recursion will stop. For that, we have 2 base cases here. First is if n is equals to 1. For example, if user have given you 1 as input, means first term of the Fibonacci series. Then what's the first term of the Fibonacci series? It's 0. Then return 0. Now, if user have given you n is equals to 2 as input, that time you have to return second element of the Fibonacci series. In that case, 1 is the second element of the Fibonacci series. So, return 1. Now, the main thing is performed by this recursive part. So, what we basically do in Fibonacci series is that we find the, if we want the element of 5th position, that time what we do, we add the last 2 elements. For example, see, we have given 5 as input. That time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want the sum of 5th element. We want the 5th element of the Fibonacci series. That time, in order to find this 5th element, what you have to do is that you have to find the sum of last 2 elements. That is 2 plus 3 is equals to, it's 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. Same thing we are doing here. What we are doing is that, for n, we are defining a recursive function to get the value of n minus 1 and n minus 2 position. See how this recursion will take place. For example, you have given n is equals to 4 as input. That time it will be fn of 4. Now what it will do is that first it will check if n is equals to 1. No, it's not. It will go to elif. N is equals to 2. No, it's not 2. Now it will go to the else part. Here what we have, we are returning the sum of n minus 1 and n minus 2. Same thing we will do here. We will be returning sum of fn. What is n minus 1 here? It's 3. And n minus 2 is 2. That is 4 minus 2. We have to return the sum of this 2 to this one. Now, see, Again recursion will call this part. What will happen here? Again, it will check whether 3 is equals to 1. No. Whether 3 is equals to 2. No. So it will move to the else condition. Now in else condition, again, it will be subdivided into two parts. That is fn of n minus 1. N minus 1 means 3 minus 1, 2. Now plus fn of n minus 2. That is 1. Here we have reached the base case. That is n is equals to 2. Here we have this base case n is equals to 2. That time we will return 1. We got 1. Now here also we have reached the base case. That is n is equals to 1. Now again here also it will return 0. Now sum of 1 and 0 will be passed to fn of 3. That time we have got here value as 1. That is 1 plus 0 is equals to 1. Now fn of 4 is sum of this one and this one. We have found this one. Now we have to find this one. So let's see this part. Fn of 2. Here the value of n is equals to 2. Let's check the base cases. Whether 2 is equals to 1? No, move ahead. Whether n is equals 2 is equals to 2? Yeah. This 2 is equals to this 2, right? So it had heated the base case. So what it will return? It will return 1. Now here we have 1, 1. Here we have 1, 1. Okay. So the sum of this one and this one will be passed to fn of 4. Then what's the sum of 1 plus 1? That is 2. So 2 is the answer. Now see in the Fibonacci series. What's the fourth element? Here we have passed 4. So we have to return the fourth element. This is one element number 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. So fourth element we have got output as 2. It means we have got the correct output. So this is how this function works. So let's move ahead to the main program and the function call. In the main program, we have to do the programming as per the output requirement. See, in the output, first thing we have to do is that we have to read one value from the user, this one. That is position of the element. In order to read a value from the user in Python, we have this syntax. That is, first you have to write the variable name, then which type of value we want from user. For example, here we want one integer. So we will write int. Now, you have seen in C and C++, you have scanf and cin in order to read the input from the user. Same thing in Python is done by input. Now, inside this parenthesis, keeping this statement is optional. But if you are keeping this statement, it's user friendly, is user interactive. Why? Since it is printing one statement here, that time giving the input while the execution process is easy. This is your Fibonacci series, right? Now, if in this program you are taking the position of the element, whether you want first position, second position, third position, fourth position, fifth position. Now, if user is giving position at 0, that time what you will return? It will be an invalid input, right? So for that, first we will check whether the position given is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then what we will do? We will call the Fibonacci function for that position. For example, if we have 5 here, if we have user have given 5 here, right? Then what this portion will do is that it will call this function for input as 5. Then, okay. So this portion fn of 2, this will hit the base case n is equals to 2 and it will return 1. Fn of 1 will hit this base case and will return 0. Now sum of both two will be passed to this one. Here we have 1 plus 0 is equals to 1. Now this part is done. Now next part is to do this part. Fn of 2, it will hit the base case n is equals to 2, it will return 1, right? Now sum of this one and this one will be given back to the fn of 4. Then that is 2. Left portion is done. Now move to the right portion. Fn of this 2, right? Okay, fn of 2 will meet the base case n is equals to 2. It will return 1. Now fn of 1 will hit the base case n is equals to 1 and it will return 0. The sum of both two will be passed to fn of 3. 1 plus 0 is equals to 1. Now this one and this sum of this one and this one will be passed to fn of n. Fn of 5. Then 2 plus 1 is equals to 3. Hence, the value which is present in the fifth term of the Fibonacci series is 3. We can see here, it's correct, right? So in this way, we are getting the output. So here we have compiled this one. Okay, done. Now it is asking what input from the user. We have given 5. See, it is printing 3. So make sure to leave a feedback for our improvement and like the video if you like it and subscribe the Algo Home and be a part of this amazing family.